Winter, 1614. Around the greatest fortress ever built in Japan, 200,000 soldiers are digging siege lines. Banners stretch to the horizon in every direction. The combined armies of nearly every warlord in the country, summoned by one man, Tokugawa Ieyasu, the old shogun, the last survivor of the three great unifiers of Japan. He is 71 years old. He has outlasted, outfought, and outschemed every rival of his generation. He has one piece of unfinished business left on this earth. Inside the fortress, waiting for him, is the son of his dead master. This is the story of the Siege of Osaka, the largest samurai battle ever fought, the last stand of 100,000 warriors with nowhere left to go, and the final charge of a man his enemies would call the greatest warrior in Japan. When it ends, the age of the samurai at war will be over, forever. To understand why 200,000 men have come to Osaka, you have to go back 15 years. Japan had been unified by the brilliant peasant-born warlord Toyotomi Hideyori. But when Hideyoshi died, he left behind a 5-year-old heir, Hideyori, and a council of regents sworn to protect the boy. The most powerful of those regents was Tokugawa Ieyasu, and Ieyasu had sworn his oath with his fingers crossed. In 1600 at Sekigahara, Ieyasu crushed the coalition loyal to the Toyotomi cause and took supreme power for himself. 3 years later, he claimed the title of shogun. The boy Hideyori was allowed to live, wealthy, honored, and utterly sidelined, inside his father's colossal castle at Osaka. But a living Toyotomi heir is a loaded gun pointed at the Tokugawa dynasty. Every dispossessed samurai in Japan, every masterless ronin whose lord fell at Sekigahara, looks at Osaka and sees one last hope. By 1614, Hideyori is a grown man of 21, and Ieyasu, now over 70, does the math. He can leave this problem to his heirs, or he can end the Toyotomi line while he still draws breath. All he needs is a pretext. He finds one in, of all things, a temple bell. Hideyori casts a great bronze bell whose inscription contains the characters of Ieyasu's own name, split apart. Ieyasu's scholars declare it a hidden curse, a prayer for the Tokugawa to be broken. It is a transparently manufactured outrage. It is also a declaration of war. The call goes out from Osaka, and Japan's dispossessed answer. Ronin flood into the castle by the tens of thousands. Veterans of Sekigahara. Christian samurai facing persecution. Old soldiers with nothing left but their swords and their grudges. By November, close to 100,000 fighting men stand inside Osaka's walls. They have no country, no future, no second castle to retreat to. For nearly every man inside these walls, Osaka is the last place in Japan where they can still be samurai. This is not just a siege, it is the last stand of an entire way of life. And among the ronin is a name that makes even Tokugawa veterans uneasy. Sanada Yukimura. 47 years old, from a small mountain clan famous for one thing, humiliating the Tokugawa. Twice, at the little castle of Ueda, the Sanada had beaten Tokugawa armies many times their size. Yukimura arrives at Osaka and immediately sees the castle's one weakness, the southern approach, where the ground is dry and firm. So he builds his own fortress there, a ferocious earthwork barbican bristling with palisades and gun loops, jutting out from the main defenses like a dare. His men call it the Sanada Maru. In November 1614, the Tokugawa host arrives. The winter campaign has begun. Ieyasu is too shrewd to hurl men at the strongest fortress in Japan, but his commander's probing attacks are drawn, again and again, toward that tempting southern outwork. It is a killing machine. In early December, thousands of Tokugawa troops assault the Sanada Maru and are shredded by disciplined volleys of musket fire from the walls. They come again. They are shot down again. Attack after attack breaks against Yukimura's little fortress, and the moat before it fills with Tokugawa dead. The red banners of the Sanada become a legend in a single week. Ieyasu, watching his casualties mount against walls he cannot breach, changes weapons. He brings up artillery, including massive imported European cannon, and begins bombarding the castle itself, day and night. He isn't aiming at soldiers. He is aiming at nerves. Cannonballs crash through the keep's upper floors, one shot smashing into the chambers of Hideyori's mother, Lady Yodo, killing her attendants in front of her. The psychological warfare works. The Toyotomi court, shaken, accepts Ieyasu's suspiciously generous peace terms. The siege will end, everyone will be pardoned, and only the castle's outer moat will be filled in as a gesture of good faith. Then Ieyasu commits one of the most infamous acts of bad faith in Japanese history. His work crews fill in the outer moat and simply keep digging. They demolish the outer ramparts, then fill the second moat as well, working at frantic speed while Tokugawa officials stonewall every protest. Within weeks, the greatest fortress in Japan has been stripped naked. Osaka's legendary defenses, including the Sanada Maru, are gone, flattened, buried. The trap is sprung. In the spring of 1615, citing the ronin's refusal to disperse, Ieyasu declares the peace broken and marches on Osaka again. The summer campaign will not be a siege. Without moats, without walls, it can only be decided one way, in the open field. The defenders know the arithmetic. Perhaps 60,000 remain against a Tokugawa army approaching 150,000 or more. Their only chance is to strike the enemy columns before they can unite. Desperate battles flare at Domyoji and Yao and Wakai, and at every turn the numbers grind the Toyotomi commanders down. One by one, the best of them die fighting rearguard actions in the summer heat. By the 3rd of June, 1615, what is left of the Toyotomi army, perhaps 50,000 exhausted men, draws up in the field south of Osaka, near the temple district of Tennoji. Facing them, the entire Tokugawa host. Sanada Yukimura commands the Toyotomi right. He knows this is the end. He has written as much to his family that this will be his final battle. But he has one plan left, one masterpiece of audacity. An all-or-nothing strike aimed directly at a single point on the battlefield. The command post of Tokugawa Ieyasu himself. Kill the old shogun, and the entire war changes in an instant. At midday, the Battle of Tennoji explodes across the plain, the last great field battle of the samurai age. And through the smoke and chaos, Sanada Yukimura launches his thunderbolt. His division, thousands of men in blood-red armor, smashes through the Tokugawa vanguard like a spear. Formations that haven't broken in decades shatter. The red wave drives deeper and deeper into an army 20 times its size, aimed at one thing only, the golden fan standard marking Ieyasu's headquarters, and they reach it. Sanada's samurai crash into the shogun's own guard. The bodyguard ranks buckle. Ieyasu's great standard, untouched by enemies in a lifetime of war, topples in the chaos. The 72-year-old shogun is swept up in the rout of his own headquarters. By some accounts, the old man, seeing his guards scattering around him, despairs and speaks of cutting his belly rather than being taken. Twice, 3 times, the red wave surges at his position. For a few impossible minutes, the fate of Japan balances on the edge of Sanada Yukimura's spear. But there are simply too many. Tokugawa reinforcements pour in from every side, sealing the breach with sheer mass. The charge that came within yards of changing history bleeds out against odds no courage can overcome. By late afternoon, Yukimura is slumped on a camp stool near a shrine, wounded, drenched in sweat, too exhausted to lift his sword. A Tokugawa samurai finds him there. Yukimura, by tradition, simply identifies himself and lets the man take his head. When word spreads of how he died and how close he came, even his enemies bow. The Shimazu clan, hard men who fought at Sekigahara, record the verdict that history will keep. Sanada Yukimura was the #1 warrior in Japan. With Yukimura dead, the Toyotomi line breaks. The Tokugawa tide rolls over the plain and into the castle grounds. By evening, Osaka Castle, the golden fortress of the Toyotomi, is an inferno, its keep collapsing in flames visible for miles. The next day, trapped in a storehouse with fire closing in, 22-year-old Toyotomi Hideyori commits seppuku. His mother dies with him. The victors are not merciful. Hideyori's 8-year-old son Kunimatsu is found in hiding and beheaded like a common criminal, a child executed to guarantee that no Toyotomi banner can ever rise again. Across the following weeks, the roads outside Osaka are lined with the heads of thousands of captured ronin. The message to Japan is absolute. It is over. All of it. And it truly is over. The Siege of Osaka is the last great samurai battle in Japanese history. Within a year, Tokugawa Ieyasu is dead, his final enemy destroyed with months to spare. The dynasty he secured at Osaka will rule Japan for 250 years of enforced peace. The samurai will endure as a class, as bureaucrats, administrators, poets. But the age of massed armies, of castles under siege, of warlords gambling everything on a single charge, dies in the fires of Osaka Castle. Japan would not see war again on this scale until the modern age. And when Japanese storytellers reach for the moment their warrior era ended, they return always to the same image. A man in red armor, driving through 200,000 enemies, close enough to make a shogun contemplate death, before vanishing into legend. 100,000 ronin with nowhere left to go. The mightiest fortress in Japan, dismantled by a signature instead of a cannon. And one final, impossible charge that came within a sword's length of rewriting history. The Tokugawa won Japan at Osaka. But the legend of the samurai belongs to the men who lost. Thanks for watching Historical Club. If history's greatest last stands belong on your screen, subscribe. Because some stories deserve to outlive their empires.